These two fucking remixes have been stuck in my head for weeks. To preface, I went into this expecting a real easy video, and then I found out this particular remix has lore. Great. I'm blown away Newgrounds still exists, because most good websites have since been scalped and mutilated. Here's a rundown of that history. Yoko Shimomura composed the original Beware the Forest theme for Super Mario RPG. DJ XBrav or Brian Baker made this
Then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's maze. Give me
thing using ROBOVoice and created the original version, to which Martin Hagwell, or Marta, I don't fucking know, to write the song Rawest Forest, created the original remix of the song in 2004, with Buana and Jasmine. Kerbofer, or Christopher Niosi, animated it in 2007.
Super Mario RPG, it's the only one just for me.
At some point, Waltz of the Forest is made, which I'll address minorly, but this is not about that. Not long after, only over 10 years went by. The Rawest Forest is reanimated and recomposed.
Super Mario RPG, it is the only one just for me.
Featuring a million people, but specifically Jamison, Boaz, and Daniel Rustage. Okay, I know that seems like info dump, but I'm trying to break some bad habits. I need you to understand this took way too much work to research for a song that shouldn't require me to hire a PI. If you can't tell from the samples, and perhaps whatever visuals I decide to spew up on the screen, this song is a goof. The original version was a joke, the remix of it was a joke, the animated version of it was probably a joke, and I can't comment on the remake. You may wonder why I'm doing the Rawest Forest videos that are animated, and it is because this video started on that, and I learned more as I went. If I wanted, I could do a cover v-cover v-cover v-cover. I don't want to, but I could. Also, I haven't played Super Mario RPG since I was like 6, and even then I wasn't very good at it. Anyway, you may be familiar with these kinds of fan songs of games, some more cynical than others. The first mix came from somewhere. They took the original MIDI and added Moonbase Alpha to it. Basically the most early internet-style parody someone can make. Naturally, somebody saw this and thought, what if there was a rap verse in it? As we all do. Remixing the song into a version that contains the artists I listed earlier. Then Niosi animated it, which is something they do quite a bit of for a lot of different stuff. Also, looks nothing like their profile picture. More unrealistic beauty standards for Generation X. Generation Sex. Anyway, that crude flash animation would later be evolved into the third version, Waltz of the Forest, which I think he said he made for college. I bring these two versions up to explain why I am not doing them. They don't have videos. The original, well, yes they do. The Waltz of the Forest video, which was made like it was an anime opening, is a lot more serious. I don't like it that much. Mainly I'm not huge for these tribute parodies that are serious because they just don't work. I mostly prefer the creations that are just goofier and lighter, like Rawest Forest. I came across this when I got sick for the 15th time in April. Mainly it just kept popping up and I'm a little nostalgic for these kinds of animations. And it happened to get a remake in 2023, right on time for the remake of the game. They gave Gino moves. This was originally a topic I thought would be easy, but alas, I am just a simple man. Because with Rawest Forest, for both versions, I have listened to them way more times than I should have, to the extent that their minor differences aren't even deal breakers. I just like both versions. Regardless, let me get into the differences before we do whatever assessment I set for the series, and yes, I will be addressing the differences in the videos. To start, in the 2000s, when these videos were being made, video game culture was kinda different. Less about the game and playing them, less about the construction and critique, more just about the culture of being a gamer. Rawest Forest is kind of in this style. The original song used the bridge between the chorus in order to do this call-out.
Give me frog coins, give me ice bumps, give me fried bumps, give me mushrooms, give me Sia, give me Starek, give me cookies, give me lambs.
Which Rawest Forest turned into the name call they do in the poker rap.
Give me frog coins, give me Mario, give me frog coins, give me Mallow, give me Sia, give me Tino, give me cookies.
It's more of a tribute to the game. I don't know if the bits in it are a parody or bits in the game. Probably the latter, but I do like some of them on their own, and they pair well with that early gaming culture. You can also see these changes in the newer version. Early flash animation was really crude, but it had its charm. I love the original video because of how amateur it feels. It gives it so much life. That's not to say the newer animation isn't better in any way. Obviously on a technical level it is, but I do find the original's older fluid movements charming, in a way the newer version's polish just doesn't work the same. It lacks the charm because it's so professional, even if it's more clear what's actually happening. In a way, I feel the music plays out the same way. The music of the original is pretty primitive, down to the compression. I also like that you can hear the accents of the singers in the original, just because the newer version is so professional it borders on being blown out.
While we're trying to cheat in a really good game, just sounds like crap and it's make you look gay.
The singer who does Peach in the original I prefer over the newer singer. I think the newer voice actor sounds, well, like I would expect Peach to.
I am just a princess, please help me.
The older version just doesn't, and maybe that tiny detail wins me over.
Heard rumors he's taking me to marry more, but I don't wanna marry more, I wanna marry, no.
The limitations of the original add a lot of charm in the weaker singing and harmonies. They worked with it since they didn't have the resources, and in my opinion it works. I really like the original song for this reason.
Super Mario RPG, and it's the only one just for me.
People complain that they could barely hear the opening monologue, but I mean that's the point. It's an opening conversation about the legendary Mario. I also think the softer singing makes the song a lot more fun. The drum transition from the parts is a lot more prominent, where they're basically gone in the newer version. The rap battle between Exor and Gino may be inaudible, but I like it a lot. Including the rap verse from the main vocals after. You can also see the difference in humor from the battle demo with Toad swearing to Exor using the word because that was internet culture for like 15 years. And sure, it's dated and cheap, but one problem in the newer version is they keep the build-up leading to the curse, but don't replace it, and just change the wording. The original's joke is clear. The Mario, the Partio, that's the joke. Where the newer version is just weaker in that sense, even if the rap battle itself is better and more clear. I still don't know what they're saying, but do I need to? On the other hand, the newer version succeeds in being a much better song. The charm is lost a little, but the song itself is still there. For example, the harmonies in the newer version are excellent. The bass is bouncy and much more poppy, especially in the latter verse.
Why we try to cheat in a really good game, just sounds like crap.
It also has more references through it.
I need to get those damn front coins to pay off all my credit cards.
This is a reference to the original ROBOVoice clip.
I need to get those damn frog coins to pay off all my credit cards there.
The singing vegetables refer to the major Waltz of the Forest and other parts of the original video. The harmonies with the carrot is also much better here, where the original the harmonies are mostly weaker. Even then, I still prefer the Peach singing in the original, even the harmony blip with the snippets, which is adorable. I also appreciate the reference to the striking snippet getting their coffee break in the new version. Hey off.
I am just a princess, please help me. Let me escape.
The original version does flop in certain places, mainly in the instrumentation, which is better in the synths and strings than the drum beats, though I think it works. Again, I really like that transition they do in the older version. The emphasis is also a bit weaker, though it's not improved in the future version, which is much stronger. The animation is obviously better and far more expressive in the newer version, but I have to say, the newer version has the villains calling you a wimp for cheating, but in the original everyone does. And I think that's so funny. Just because the concern for online guides and cheating is such a 2000s concern. Even the bit with Yoshi in the original has that slight amount more charm, but then again I don't blame them for changing it. They're making a new version, they've got to have something to do. I do appreciate the newer Easter eggs, though in some cases I'm just confused. Even for the flaws and the crudeness, I do genuinely like it. That doesn't make it perfect. The background vocals and ad-libs are very muted and hard to hear, the mixing is kinda shit, and the singing isn't great. I put up with it because I kinda like bad singing provided it isn't tone deaf, but the inflections don't always match up with the music's tone. That said, the clips that diffuse in the original into 10s instead of just 9 is way better. But it makes sense because they shortened the time to have this character sing. I don't know who this is, leave me alone. It doesn't mean all the changes are bad. The singing is leagues better by default, and the songs pop more, but the harmonies just feel that right amount of tight. I may not know who this mouse is singing with the frog, but they do a pretty good job. Even the higher pitch harmonies just sound excellent. For what it's worth, the main issue with the original and newer version is the writing, which is still video game parody. Could that ever be written any other time than in the 2000s? Yeah? Okay. It fits better in the original because you can see its age, but the newer version is carrying what it can through concealing. Even then, I'm dead center between the running animations of the original and new because the original has that cross-eyed bit that I swear every parody did, while the newer version just looks better and expressive more, and Bowser isn't humping the floor anymore. Even then, the newer version does have the problem of being far more serious, which isn't bad, but as I said with Waltz of the Forest, I'm just not huge into serious tributes like this because it is still a Mario game. Bowser's simping for that bestiality. Ultimately, I do like both versions. Probably too much. The original version is fun and goofy, while the newer version feels like an honest tribute. Both songs are really catchy at many parts. The original has the Peach solo, while the newer version succeeds in the latter verse with that groovy bass. I think the singing and writing is dumb, but it's the fun kind of dumb. I think I prefer the newer version as music, where I like the original as a relic. The videos are also both unique in their own ways as cheesy musicals. Most of all, you can just tell they're being made for fun. Sometimes it's nice to... Alright, let me spew for a second. This is my second or third rewrite of this, and I had this idea when I listened to it. People tend to look back at the past and cringe at the older culture, or idealize it way too much. When I listen to these songs, watching these videos, I get this strange emotion I'm not used to. It makes me smile. It's kind of cringe in a good way. You see that people are highly passionate for something really simple. However, I do genuinely admire it because that passion is earnest. Even from the original me, and it may have been a shitpost, but it traveled far beyond that original seed. Even the videos got spread around on other sites like Nico videos and YouTube from the original Newgrounds. There's something almost captivating about the original video and song, even the newer version, because Super Mario RPG was something kinda odd and special. Even if the songs are funny and dumb, they're the good kind. I really do like these songs because there's this connection you get listening to them. If anything, there isn't really a reason to redo and cover any version of Rawest Forest. And there's both benefits and losses to both versions in any regard, but I like them both a lot. And either way, I do think the newer version is better as a song. The better instruments, mixing, harmonies, and generally everything. Maybe besides the humor, but even then, songs don't stay funny on multiple listens. If anything, what I like is that they were made completely out of passion. That's beautiful.